Good day, everyone, and welcome back for another educational video here in Chemistry 101 with Tantan. So, syempre, first of all, no, we are going to define solution. Ano nga ba itong solution? So, ang solution is a type of mixture that is the same throughout. A solution can be physically separated, and all portions of the solutions have the same properties. So meaning, ang solution ay nabibilang sa homogeneous type of mixture. So mga halimbawa ng solution is salt water, blood, sugar water, and gasoline. Now, a solution basically it has two components, the solute and the solvent. So ngayon, itong solute, it is a substance that is dissolved to make a solution. And when dissolved, it separates into individual particles. Itong solvent naman, it is a substance that dissolves a solute. Tinutunaw niya ang solute. When the solute is dissolved into the solvent, it is not possible to identify the solvent and solute as individual parts. Because as I said earlier, ang solution ay isang type ng mixture that is the same throughout. Let us take coffee as an example. So in coffee, the solute are coffee powder, sugar, and creamer, while the solvent is the hot water. Now all we have to do is dissolve the solute to the solvent. At meron na tayong mainit-init na kape. Now this coffee is our solution. And as we can see, this mixture is the same throughout. And all portions has the same properties. So there are three types of solutions. The first one is the gaseous solutions. An example of this is air, where the solute is oxygen and the solvent is nitrogen. This is because in air, oxygen is dissolved in nitrogen. Also, to determine whether what your solute or solvent can be, it is a known fact that the substance that is more abundant is automatically the solvent. And since the air we breathe is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, our solvent will be nitrogen and oxygen is the solute. The next type of solution is the liquid solution. An example of this is humidity, where the solute is the liquid and the solvent is the gas. Water is dissolved into air, and humidity is the result. Humidity is the concentration of water vapor in air. It indicates the likelihood for precipitation, dew, or fog. Lastly, the third type of solution is the solid solution. The example of this is stainless steel. Chromium metal is dissolved in iron to form a shiny steel. Therefore, chromium metal is our solute and iron is our solvent. When combined, it forms stainless steel. It is a type of steel that has resistance to rusting due to the presence of chromium metal. Ngayon, ang pag-uusapan naman natin ay electrolytes and non-electrolytes. So, mostly, we see this in labels of sports drinks. Electrolyte is a substance that dissolves in water and breaks into ions. Meanwhile, non-electrolytes are substance that does not break into ions when dissolved in water. Ngayon, ito naman ang mga halimbawa ng electrolytes. So, as I said earlier, sports drinks have electrolytes. So, one example is Gatorade. Another example is salt, calcium, potassium, and magnesium. All of this, when dissolved in water, they break into ions. And here we have some examples of non-electrolytes or substances that does not break into ions when dissolved in water. So we have wood, glucose, latex, and ethanol. Soluble and insoluble substances. So if you take a glass of water and put sand in it and stir, no matter how hard you try, the sand won't dissolve in water. This is because sand is an insoluble substance, meaning it is a substance that will not dissolve in a solvent even after mixing. However, if you take another glass of water and put salt in it and stir, the salt will dissolve in the water. That is because salt is a soluble substance which can be dissolved or liquefied in the presence of another substance. Now let us talk about solubility. Solubility is the maximum quantity of a substance that can dissolve in a certain quantity of water at a specified temperature. There are four factors that affect solubility: temperature, pressure, particle size, and agitation. The first factor is temperature. At higher temperatures, solvent molecules have greater kinetic energy. This means they move around more. More movement means more chance of collision with solute particles. For example, iced tea and hot tea are gonna dissolve sugar differently. You may have tried adding sugar to iced tea to sweeten it a little bit, and after you finish that iced tea, you may have noticed that there's a bunch of sugar left in the bottom of the glass. Or maybe you notice that it is sweeter in the bottom than it is in the top. Well, this is because solids don't dissolve very well in cold water, and the hotter the water is, the easier you will dissolve the solids. Just like if you put sugar in your hot tea and stir. The second factor is pressure. Pressure affects only the solubility of gases since liquids and solids are virtually incompressible. High pressure pushes gas molecules close together and makes them more likely to interact with a liquid solvent. Thus, higher pressure makes gases more soluble. For example, since gases are greatly affected in pressure, the greater the pressure, the greater the solubility of a gas. This is why soda or pop goes flat when it is left open. The reason sodas are so packed with CO2 is because it's under great pressure. That is what it means to be carbonated. They pressurize the solution so that they can pack a whole bunch of carbon dioxide into the solution and makes it all fizzy. And when you open the bottle of soda, you're gonna lower the pressure of the solution. And so, the solubility of the CO2 decreases. The next factor is particle size. Decreasing the size of particles increase the rate of dissolving due to increase in surface area. The smaller the molecule, the faster it will dissolve. For example, there is a reason why we use granulated sugar to add to our tea or coffee. The smaller the particle size, the faster a substance will dissolve. And breaking a substance into smaller particles give more surface area to interact with the water molecules and dissolve. The fourth and last factor is agitation. Agitating a mixture by stirring or shaking the container increases the rate of dissolving. Agitation brings fresh solvent into contact with undissolved solid. For example, have you ever tried to sweeten your tea or coffee with a spoonful of sugar? Well, you can't just dump it in and start drinking. You have to stir it. Now, if you did just dump the sugar in, it would eventually dissolve, but it would just take a long time. So, stirring increases the rate at which a solid will dissolve. So, another way to put that is agitation increases the rate of the solubility. Now, we've come to the last part of this lecture, which is word problems involving solutions. We have a sample question here, which later on we will try to solve. So the problem goes like this. How many liters of 10% solution should be mixed with 60 liters of 25% solution to get 15% solution? So the first thing that we are going to do is list all the given data. So first, we have 10% solution in which we still don't know the volume of. So we will just put X liters of 10% solution. X is what we will be solving for later. And then this solution needs to be mixed with 60 liters of 25% solution in order for us to come up with a 15% solution. So the question is, how many liters of 10% solution are we going to add to the 60 liters of 25% solution to get 15% solution? So the next step is we will be equating the problem. The basic equation for this is 10% or 0.1 of x plus 25% or 0.25 times 60 is equal to 15% or 0.15 multiplied to the quantity of x plus 60. Remember, x is the amount of 10% solution. And then we will perform the operation. 0.1x remains the same since it has a variable. 0.25 times 60 is 15. And using distributive property, we will distribute 0.15 to the quantity of x plus 60. 0.15 times x is 0.15x plus 0.15 times 60 is 9. So we have 0.1x plus 15 is equal to 0.15x plus 9. Now, we have to move all numbers with variables to the right side and the other coefficients to the left side of the equal sign. So since we are going to move 0.1x to the other side, crossing the equal sign, it will become negative 0.1x. And the 9 that we are going to move to the left side of the equal sign will also be negative. So we will have 15 minus 9 is equal to 0.15x minus 0.1x. Again, we will perform the operations. 15 minus 9 is 6, and 0.15x minus 0.1x is 0.05x. Now all we have to do is divide both sides by 0.05 and we will get the value of x, which is 120. So, 120 liters of 10% solution needs to be mixed in the 60 liters of 25% solution in order to get a 15% solution. So that is how you solve problems involving solutions. And that would conclude our topic for today. Hope you all learned something new about solutions. Once again, this is Chemistry 101 with Tantan.